Hey, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel. It is June 7th, and I have not picked up a physical or ebook at all this month. I've actually only read one book this month, and it was While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. Love her, loved it. Such a sweet ending to the wedding date series. You could say they're interconnected standalone. So I figured since it's June 7th, what better day to start reading 7 days in June? Let's take off this sticker first. I hope it's gonna be easy to take this off. Oh, okay, let's see if it comes off. Ready? Oh, come on. Yay. Okay, now we're all good. I can't do anything about this one. Let's cover it up like that. So 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I have only seen good things about this on Book Talk, so I'm really hopeful. And I thought it'd be fun to read it over 7 days in June all together. I don't know how the book is structured, don't really know anything about it. It's how I go into most books. So I'm gonna use these tabs to set off where I should read over the next 7 days. I hate doing this because I feel like I have to look at the book like this or try and not open it very wide. Okay, I think it's 325 pages. We're gonna say it's 325 pages because there are the acknowledgements. And then, oh my gosh, I don't want to spoil it for myself. And then yeah, 325 is right there. So that's exciting. We're going to split that into 7. Side note, here's the author. So fun. This is my first Tia Williams book too, and I am very interested to see. I know not everyone likes the flaps on these covers, but I kind of do. So we're going to take 325 and divide it by 7. I don't think that's easily divisible by 7. So let's see what it is. Okay, so we have 325 divided by 7. Ooh, am I gonna do it? Yes. Okay. Oh, that's not bad. That's not too bad in terms of pages. We're gonna round up to 47 pages, and then we're going to have less to read on the last day, I think, or maybe a little more. I don't know. I think it's a little less. Don't ask me about math. It's not the best at that. We're going to do the same thing where we just kind of look at it like this. Ooh. So our first page stop, I'll show you where each of them are, is at like the start of a new chapter. That's so fun. I love reading one page of a chapter and then having to stop. I feel like this is gonna be a really good exercise for my OCD because I am such a person that is all or nothing, which is not the best type of person to be. So to stop after one page of a chapter start, oh, that'll be so hard. But I feel like that's the way we gotta do it. Okay, 40. So then we have to go to page 94. I'm gonna definitely have to use my calculator for some of these because I can do some math in my head, but I can't do all the math in my head. You know what I mean? 94. Okay. In the middle of a chapter. Is this going to be a smart idea to stop? I really don't know. I want to try it. This is very sticky. Why is it sticky on both sides? Y'all, this is a little more of a chaotic introduction than I'm used to, but I also feel very chatty today. So we're gonna see how people like that. Okay, so now we have 2. And then, I don't know what 94 plus 47 is. I'm so sorry. I feel so silly. Plus 47 is 141. Okay. I feel like I'm chatting with you more so that I don't actually look at what's happening on the pages because I feel like I should have had my husband tab these for me so that I know where to stop. That's my bad though. Oh my goodness. I have to stick the tab on the page, but I don't want to spoil anything. This was a terrible idea. Okay, so I have 3 tabs in. Wow. They're not the most, it's okay. Don't worry too much about it. They're not the most even. All right, let's add 47. 188. Oh my goodness, okay. Ooh, I went exactly 10 pages ahead. I'm so fancy. I feel like I do a decent job of showing my personality on camera. Today I feel like I'm just in like a whole different vibe. Mainly because I haven't picked up a physical book, like I said, at all this month, and I'm just so excited to get to it. Wow, those are almost covering each other. I can't have that. I'm gonna get confused. And I think I'm doing something wrong with the stickiness. I don't know. Okay, so we have 4. Okay, so we're gonna add another 47 to our 184. We're at 235. That's fun because it ends at 325. I really have not spoiled anything for myself. I don't even know what the main... Look at that. Another page into a chapter is when we have to stop. This is gonna be very interesting to see too. I feel like in terms of, because I do want to hold myself to stopping at the page that I say to stop, to actually read this evenly over 7 days in June. And I don't know what I'm gonna stop at. I don't know how I'm gonna feel, but I really do want to like hold myself to that. I have to move one of the tabs back. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I don't know if everyone can like do something similar to this where they can just open a book and flip through it and not see any details, or if that's just something I can do. I feel like other people can do it. I feel like I'm being a little silly with saying I'm the only one that can do it. But I really try. I like to do that because I like to sometimes see how many pages books are, but I don't always Google it. I just take a guess. That looks way better, except for the first one. We gotta move the first one back over. I wasn't really thinking. Okay. And then all the other ones will move over a little bit. Here's a little bit of my wanting to make sure I can fit all the tabs in. I feel like that's the purpose behind me moving them all over, because I have 2 more to fit in. Do I have 2 more to fit in? I don't know. I think I have 2 more. And then I didn't think I would have enough room the way that it was before. Okay, we'll see. If I have only 1 more to fit in, y'all, that's on me for not knowing how to math. Oopsie daisy. Okay, that looks way better. Wow, I'm happier with that right now. Okay, let's add another 47. Oh my gosh, I think I just have 1 more. I don't know, we'll see. So 282. No, right? I swear I just flipped to 282. This is a great day for me. If you've never watched one of my videos before, I'm usually a lot more structured, I feel like, but I don't know what else to do while I'm tabbing besides kind of chat with you. And then, yeah, let's add another 47 to this and see. Yeah, so 239. So our last tab is technically the end of the book, but I'm just gonna tab where the acknowledgements are because I feel like I'm gonna spoil it for myself if I actually look at the last page of the book. Like I said, I'm usually not this chatty, but I feel like I am so excited to pick up a physical book. I haven't picked up a physical book at all this month because I went to see Taylor Swift in Chicago, and I went on June 2nd and June 4th. And like I said, today is June 7th. And after the June 4th show, because June 1st, I'll post a picture of my view here. So not June 1st, sorry. So June 2nd, her first show in Chicago, we were in section 438, row 4. But then on Sunday, her third show in Chicago, the June 4th show, we were in section N on the floor and row 6. And if you're like right behind the diamond, row 6 is technically row 3, and we were like right behind that section of the diamond, so we were like 3rd row. It was phenomenal. But that means I haven't picked up a physical book because I feel like I had a Taylor Swift hangover for the past few days, and this is the first day I feel like I have my full energy back. We have this tab that actually looks really nice. That looks pretty even. I'm not the best at tabbing, as we've seen in some of my other videos, so I'm excited that these tabs look pretty good. For 7 days in a row, I'm going to read one of these little sections. And like I said, we're going to have to stop in the middle of chapters. I really want to stick to reading evenly over the 7 days. I think that's going to be a fun little challenge. Let's go ahead and start reading. Again, I have no idea what this is about, so I think that's also going to be a fun little challenge for me. Okay, I've moved to my reading spot. As you can see, it's Wednesday, June 7th. I'll show the day as I'm actually reading the day. And again, we're reading section 1 of 7 Days in June. So I have to stop reading to try to deal with a work thing. I am 12 pages in. I was not expecting like any of this at all, if I'm being honest with you. I had no idea what type of author Eva was. I really had no clue she'd have a kid or anything like that. So I definitely am interested to keep reading. I also suffer from migraines, but not in the same mysterious way that Eva does. Technically, this is also starting on a Sunday. Maybe I should have started on a Sunday, but the Wednesday just works better with the rest of my schedule in June. But I'm interested to see if I actually get through a whole day with the way that I have the days split up or not. That'll be something to look forward to in the book too. But we're gonna take a little break to do some work, then hopefully get back to reading it. So I have like 35 pages left to read for today, which I really don't think is bad at all. I have gotten up to the first tab of 7 Days in June. I think this is really interesting. I was not expecting the backstories that both of these characters have. So I feel like that's really exciting. Now, we did go from Sunday to then Monday. So I don't know if I'd actually read it by days based on the book, how the pacing would be. But I think that's going to be interesting to find out. Again, it's June 7th, so tomorrow, June 8th, we'll read the next little section, and we'll keep going for 7 days in June. Alrighty, good morning. It is 6:02 on June 8th. That means we are starting our second day of reading 7 Days in June. I'm going to finish taking the dogs outside, make some breakfast, and then we're just going to read, hopefully all in one sitting before work. I don't technically start working from home until about 8. We'll see if I can finish my 47 pages before 8 a.m. Okay, we are on page 95, so I have to stop. I'm not happy to be stopping because the main characters are having like their first real talk in like 15 years, and I think it's really interesting. I love the concept so far. I think it's pretty unique from what I've read. I can definitely see why people really loved this book because like I'm really loving it so far and I don't want to stop. I still have quite a few days to get through and I am feeling like I'm really going to enjoy this. Stopping this is really hard though. I feel like I was not expecting any of this. Like I thought it was just going to be like more of a straight up falling in love in 7 days romance story, but there's a lot of history between the two characters that I just had no idea about. So I'm really interested to keep reading, but we're gonna stay true to reading 7 days in June, over 7 days in June, and so I will continue reading tomorrow. I will say I'm not 100% sure how I think the book is going to end, right? Because I think it's a romance story. I think they get together. I feel like that's obviously how most romance books are, but I'm really not sure. And I'm not sure from now in the book how that would happen. I don't know, which I feel like is really good because I feel like sometimes I'm not as into obvious romance stories. And I feel like this is a good departure from some of the stuff that I have usually been reading. So I will check back in with you tomorrow when I read for day 3 of 7 days. Okay, hello. It's our third day of reading 7 days in June. As you can, it's my work email. You don't need to see my coworkers' names. As you can see, it is Friday, June 9th. We are going to read this next little bit. Then we have all those to go. I'm super excited to keep reading. I am very curious about what's going to happen. I stopped mid-chapter. Stopping mid-chapter, not something I do. And when I mean mid-chapter, there was this much that I had read in the chapter, and there is this much left in the chapter. So really in the middle, the next stop is also in the middle of a chapter. I did this to myself. I should not be complaining. This is a great exercise because I do have OCD, and some of my tendencies are to continue reading until there's a clear break or whatnot. So I feel like this is a good exposure therapy, I guess, to me. I am still not enjoying that part the most, but I am enjoying the book. I have no idea if they're actually gonna like end up together, how their relationship's gonna form, any of that. I do like how we go from past to present. I think that's really interesting. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen, especially because like our female main character writes like in a very interesting genre. And so I'm curious if that's going to come back at all and interfere with their potential relationship. I'm not 100% sure, but we're gonna read and then I will let you know how we like this little day 3 portion. Okay, so got up to the 3rd tab for day 3. We're not technically on the 4th day in the book, we're on Wednesday, but I feel like the days are just gonna get longer until the end of the book now, or maybe the last day will be short and the rest of them will be long. I am still enjoying it. I still don't fully know where it's gonna go. There was a little like interesting plot point that I feel like got resolved too quickly, but maybe that's just me being a pessimist. I'm not 100% sure. But I, again, still have no idea whether it's going to be a happy ending or not. I feel like I still want to keep reading, so stopping is definitely a task right now. I just got to a part in the book where I feel like typically I would just want to keep going and keep reading, like until I felt a satisfied stop. So definitely not the most satisfied stopping place in the world. And I will have to read this in the morning tomorrow because I'm busy tomorrow afternoon. So I'm kind of excited because I've been trying to switch up the times that I'm reading as well. But it's definitely not your stereotypical romance book in any sense. I think there's definitely a lot more adult content, not in the way of like anything spicy, but in terms of just like content of material seems adult. I feel like I didn't know if there were trigger warnings at the beginning of this book, but I definitely feel like you should look up the triggers of this book before reading it. I don't usually have many, so I'm usually fine going into books blind, but for other people, I would definitely suggest it. Yeah, so we're 3 days into our 7 days of June, and we'll see where day 4 takes us tomorrow. Good morning. Teddy and I are starting this update on a high note. Thank you. So it is Saturday, June 10th. So we are on our 4th day reading the 7 Days of June in 7 Days in June. And again, I left the book off in like the middle of a kind of intense conversation. So I'm really excited to get back to reading it. Like I said, I feel like there is a lot of heavier material in this book, so that's something to be aware of, but I can still see how it's a romance book. This gives me very like, I feel like this isn't, you know, like a fluff romance. Like there's a lot of deeper content into this book. It reminds me of like what Emily Henry was trying to do with Happy Place, but I feel like this does it better. And it also reminds me a lot of Kennedy Ryan, Before I Let Go. Obviously very different circumstances because the folks in Before I Let Go were married and had a kid together, whereas these folks in this book didn't really have a relationship past the 7 Days in June. I will say that the female main character told the main male character that he owed her for something that happens in those 7 days, and I already felt like, because we get the past perspective, that this past 7 days were already really intense. So I don't know what more intensity is going to take place. So we are continuing to read through our tabs. So we'll start at this furthest tab and get to here. And let's see where this tab ends us. Don't be surprised, it ends us in the middle of a chapter. Great. Let's see what happens in this next day in June. Okay, I have gotten to my tab. I think today has been the hardest stop of them all with this reading in 7 days format, because the female main character has some tension with her daughter, and I swear the page before I stop is when they start to address it, and I was like, oh, I could have even stopped a page earlier and maybe it would have felt better. So I'm literally in the middle of the chapter, mid-conversation. There's also a lot more going on than I was expecting there to be. We have like increased tension between the male main character and the female main character, and I feel like the author is really smart because both main characters in the books are authors, and the real author, Tia, she is putting in these like hints to why each author in the book wrote their books the way they did. Like there's these like cute little Easter eggs that I feel like I'm finding along the way. And using the word cute is very like, again, this isn't like a soft little fluffy type of book, a lot of heavy content, but there are moments where I'm like, oh, that makes sense why this is happening. So I feel like this is also a very smart book. Really enjoying it. I desperately now want it to be tomorrow so I can keep reading. But again, this is good practice that, you know, you can stop reading in case you need to get like pulled away from something. I know this is good for me, but I just really want to keep reading. So we'll tune in tomorrow. I feel like tomorrow's reading is going to be just like jam-packed with important conversations, even though I'm only reading like 40 some pages. I feel like a lot's going to happen in those 40 some pages tomorrow, and I just feel like every stop is going to get harder until the end of the book. I feel like that'll be an easy stop when the book ends. Day 5 of reading 7 Days in June. We have, you know, a few tabs left, so we're getting closer and closer to the end of the book. I am at my parents' house, so I don't have my work phone to show the day, but I might show it later. I was worried about yesterday being the one day that maybe I couldn't finish the like actual amount of reading that I had, but I think it's actually today. So right now I have about an hour, maybe a little less, to read, and I forgot my glasses, of course, so we're gonna see how this goes. And then after this hour, I have brunch with some friends, then I'm going to see my grandma, then I'm going to Bass Pro Shop, and then I'm going home. That's kind of a lot, and so I want to see how much I can get done in this hour. I don't think I'll be able to finish, but my goal is if I can get through 25 pages, that gets me a little over halfway done. So that would be fantastic. So we'll have to see. I am super excited to get back into this book. I need to know how this conversation between the female main character and her daughter goes. Let's just hop right into it and we'll see how much I can read within this hour. This might be the first day that I don't really finish all my reading in one sitting, but that's good. Changing it up is important. So I feel like that's really good to do. All right, so that's kind of hard to see, but I'm 10 pages away from my ending check mark today. I think I might have to stop. I don't know. I'm gonna go upstairs and see if my mom is awake, and then if she's not, I'm gonna keep reading. I do want to say one thing that I'm really liking about 7 Days in June is that you clearly know who the main characters are, but you actually get perspectives from like everybody else. So because it's written in third person, I think that's something that obviously in first person just wouldn't be possible or wouldn't feel as smooth. But this I feel like is really nice seeing from perspectives that aren't just the main characters. I have no idea how this is supposed to end in like 100 or so pages. I am scared there's going to be a cliffhanger. Like I have no idea what's supposed to happen. And honestly, because we've been able to see the perspectives from some of these other characters, I would love to stay in this universe more. Like I definitely would buy more books. I really want to Google if there's plans for like a sequel or interconnected standalones or something. I don't want to spoil it for myself, so I'm not going to do that until I finish the book or I'm at a point where I feel like there's no more twists, because I feel like twists are coming. I feel like I just got to a point in the book where there's a perspective we're hearing from that I was not expecting to hear from at all. I feel like that perspective is going to keep talking at the cutoff point of today, and we're just going to end on another daily cliffhanger. So I did check where we're ending today just briefly, and it's not at the end of a chapter, it's in the middle of one. My favorite thing. So like I said, I'm going to see if I read the last 10 pages now or if I read them later. So I think my opinions of the book are definitely going to continue to evolve, especially over these next 10 pages. I'm very, very curious to see what conversation takes place. It is Sunday, June 11th. 1, I know this pullover has been in a lot of clips. It's because I keep wearing it. It's my Eras merch and I just don't want to take it off. 2, finished the last 10 pages. I am actually happy. The break is only like 2 pages into the chapter, and honestly, like something happens right at the beginning of this chapter and then it's almost like kind of a mini break. So this wasn't as damaging, I guess, of a break. I am scared of what's going to happen specifically with tomorrow's day, because tomorrow's day is our last break before the end of the book. I don't even know if there's going to be a good place for like a break. I feel like I'm just going to want to keep reading. Again, I really like all of the histories that we're getting in this book, the different perspectives. We're not just hearing from the main characters. And I think it adds depth to the book that I feel like if people read those typical book talk romances, they won't get. So I'm really digging this, and I'm really excited once I finish this book, because I'm really scared I'm going to spoil something for myself. I'm going to Google the author and like see what other books she has and if there's more coming in the 7 Days in June universe, because I'm really enjoying it and I would love to come back to this universe again. So I'll check in with you tomorrow for day 6. The day is here. Day 7 of reading 7 Days of June. I'm so excited to finish this book. No idea how it's going to end. I don't know how this can be a singular book. We'll see my reactions to these last 40 some pages, and then we get to finally do some research to see if there's a sequel or what the heck is going on. All right, I have finished 7 Days in June, and I did research, but maybe I didn't do it good enough, because there is no clear answer if this is going to be a sequel or not. It's going to continue. If it is not continuing, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 star. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel like I had no problem picking it up. I felt engaged a lot of the time. I felt my heartstrings were pulled on. However, and you know what, that might bring me to a 4, because honestly, I have a lot of questions from this book. Like, it might not be, because I'm thinking of The Lake House, which I rated a 4.5 out of 5. And that was because I only really had like an inkling that maybe there could be a sequel. But like, I have a lot more questions in this book than I do from The Lake House. And that just makes me upset when I read a book and I can't tell if it's just a standalone. I feel like maybe I just need to read a standalone and it'll get me out of this whatever I'm feeling. I have a book that I can reread, which I have maybe talked about, maybe not as much, but I have a standalone on my shelf that I know I can read a few standalones, and I might have to like bump those up my list or something, because this was just not as satisfying because I had so many questions. And again, if you know that there's another book coming out, for example, let's look at the Legendborn trilogy. We know there's a third book coming out. So do I have a million questions about the Legendborn trilogy? Obviously, I do. I feel like everybody does. But I know those are eventually going to be answered. Same thing with Realmbreaker. But some of these books, like over here, like Happy Place, I feel fine. I don't need another book. But like this, I feel like I need another book. Even before I Let Go for Kennedy Ryan. I mean, and that's a book that I felt like was very similar to this one. I feel like with that one, we at least got closure. It's clear there's going to be more books in the universe. That makes me so happy. And if I'm wrong, I'll take back. It can go up to a 4.5, I think. But yeah, I think I'm sticking with a 4 for this. So still very good. It's just I'm someone that really likes everything wrapped up nicely and all of that. I think reading over the 7 days and making myself stop was a good habit to get into. And again, I haven't really been reading physical books lately. And outside of this, I've also been reading The Summer I Turned Pretty and The Deep Sky. So I've also picked back up some of my other physical books. Haven't picked up Kingdom of the Cursed yet. Again, oh, who knows if I will. But I feel like I need to find a book with a really good, really satisfying ending. Just one book. And I am hopefully going to get that with one of my audiobooks I have lined up. But yeah, overall, I think this is really good. Check the content warnings, but be prepared to have a lot of questions if you think about books somewhat similar to how I think about books. And if you're not sure how I think about books, I feel like I have a decent catalog of videos on my channel now, which makes me kind of happy. So you can watch those and see if we interpret books in a similar way. This was really fun to do. I am curious to see if I'll do a similar video like this in the future. Not 100% sure, but we'll have to see. And if there's anything else that you want to see on my channel, just let me know.